Well, our mate Sophie Ellsworth has revealed that Nigel Farage has met with Tony Abbott multiple times to receive counsel about his immigration policy. Farage recently launched the party's Operation Restoring Justice policy.
We will stop the boats and we will detain and deport those who illegally break into our country, doing what nearly every normal country around the rest of the world does. You cannot come here illegally and stay. We will stop the boats within 2 weeks of winning government.
I mean, here is a smart man, Kel. He's picked up the... Well, he hasn't just picked up the phone. He's met with the guy who's proven that you can do it.
Yes.
What is astounding to me is that no one else in the UK seems to have had the political nous to say, there's a blueprint for all of this.
Yep.
Just take it off the shelf and use it.
That's right. It's breathtaking. And we did it twice. John Howard did it, then Kevin Rudd wound it back, then Tony Abbott did it. We've done it twice. And Britain has got the same advantage we have. It is an island nation. It's got water. And you know what else Britain has? It has one of the best navies in the world. Why don't they use the mighty British Navy in the English Channel, turning the boats around? No government, not Conservatives, not the Labor, have been prepared to do that. I'm sorry, I agree with you. It's just dumb. Why didn't they pick it up?
And, I mean, watching Joe Keir Starmer try and backpedal on all of this stuff over the last couple of months. Oh, he's all strong on immigration now. Yeah. We're going to stop all of this going on.
We've got a new Deputy Prime Minister now. Identified the problem.
I know. Gonski can't pay enough tax, apparently. But I mean, the way he has turned around and pretended, oh, well, we're going all tough on this. He's actually said some good stuff, but you've got to wonder how much he actually believes it. The bloke knows that this is cutting through, and it cut through so well for Abbott when he used stop the boats. 3-word slogan.
Yep.
Stop the boats. It worked so well. It'll be hard, I think, to arrest the rise of Farage when he's the only one basically saying what is plainly obvious.
Yeah, it is absolutely staggering that you have sort of centre-left major parties like the UK Labor, like the Democrats in the US, who still haven't got the lesson that as soon as, if you're a centre-left party and you lose control of your borders, if you lose control of sovereignty, you're dead, you're cooked, you're out of there.
And so you should be.
And this is what looks to be happening with Starmer, where they're going to go from Labor to, you know, if you want to call Reform far right or whatever, but just leaping over the Tories in the middle. Like, that's how much people are going to kick them in the nuts over it. Exactly what happened to Joe Biden, turned a record win, more votes than any other single presidential candidate in US history, gone after one term because he couldn't control the borders.
In the second biggest ever vote for Donald Trump.
And the exact same thing happened after the Rudd slide in 2007. Kevin didn't even get the chance to go in for a second term. But, you know, there was the mining tax, sure. There was the carbon price, sure. But probably the number one thing that was killing Labor the most, and certainly what people were feeling in the party, was just the boat after boat after boat coming in. The catch is, though, Tony Abbott actually privately told me how the boat turnbacks worked I don't think it's ever been made public. Maybe it hasn't, I just hadn't noticed. And I'm just not sure how that works in a UK context. There's a very sort of specific way, I don't want to reveal it because it was said in confidence, but there are very sort of geographically specific techniques that were used by the Australian Navy to turn back boats without provoking hostilities with Indonesia.
Sure.
And I don't know in an area like the UK and Europe how that can be done. But anyway, if you can do it, fine.
Well, at the very least, Jamie, it's worth taking a look at. And, I mean, if you've got to make a few changes to what you pull off the shelf, you make a few changes to what you pull off the shelf. I just can't get over the fact that he's the only one who's done it. I mean, Tony Abbott should be on speed dial to Sir Keir talking about this every day.
You're right. When you're seeing 30,000 boats crossing the English Channel illegally, and you see those scenes coming out of the UK where these illegal migrants are then being put up in hotels, and there's now protests out the front of some of these places, and some of them even then say, oh, my friend's in the 5-star and we're only in the 4-star. So you can see that there's a lot going on. There's some issues over there, but it's such a smart thing to be coming out there. He's read the room and seen that in the UK right now, people are really unhappy with their quality of life and what's going on there. And Tony Abbott said it perfectly. A country that can't stop people entering without its permission is enabling a soft, peaceful invasion.
Correct. And this is the thing. I mean, as I said before, Lucy, the boat turnbacks became Labor policy. It worked that well here that it became Labor policy. everyone apart from some loonies in the Greens basically says if you've got boats coming towards Australia, you turn them back. Why would a left-wing government in the United Kingdom not see just how damaging this is to its reputation and its chances of being re-elected?
Well, it's a really difficult question to answer, if I'm brutally honest, because ultimately they can see that it's political kryptonite, and you only need to look to the United States and what's happened recently to be able to acknowledge that. To look at what Australia managed to achieve, it wasn't something that they were able to do very quickly. I think it took some time under Abbott. I believe it was March 2014 when they came out and said it's been 100 days since we've actually seen a boat arrive to Australian shores. So, and I also note that Farage had to kind of walk his comments back a little bit and say, no, it's not going to happen within 2 weeks of the election.
Yeah.
It will happen within 2 weeks of us introducing that particular legislation and policy. They only need to also look at the numbers to recognise as well that, back in 2023, arrivals by small boats across the channel, according to Abbott, who wrote about this openly on his website, were only around 16,000. Now they've escalated to more than 43,000 across the channel in the year to June 30. This is really concerning, and you could only gauge by the protests as well that are occurring outside of these these hotels, these luxury hotels with their robes and eggs Benedict being served to them on the daily, to recognise that this is a real problem that they need to address. And so many other countries globally are recognising it too. Denmark, Sweden.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunately, it's a little bit too late for a lot of them.
And you look at the US prior to the presidential election in November last year, all the polling showed that, including for Democrat voters, cost of living was number one. It's number one everywhere. But number two was border security, right? It is a massive issue, and Starmer is about to get a big whack over it.